So I wanted to watch this video actually for a long time and kind of like show you guys and kind of like do a YouTube video of me reacting to it because as some of you may know, I used to customize Furbies. I used to customize Furbies quite a lot. Um and yeah, I've never made a long Furby. But I kind of wanted to take a look at this video and kind of talk about some of the things that she does. And, yeah, I'm not a pro about making custom Furbies. I never claimed that, but I thought it would be interesting to kind of, like, take a look at what she did and see if I had any commentary, on that. Because I started watching this video and I was like, ooh, this might be good for Twitch reactions. So, I thought we'd give that a try. But yeah, let's get right into it. You guys will have to let me know how, like, the volume and stuff is for you guys. If it's too loud or too soft, yeah, give me a heads up and we will fix that for you guys. But, yeah, otherwise, let's watch some YouTube together, guys.
Hello, my friends. It's finally time. Great start. I would say most of you are probably already familiar with my son, Thursday Plurban and Boy Porridge. Well, for those of you who don't follow me on other social media, this is my daughter. Her name is gluten-free garbadine Girlgruel. We've already had her for some time, if you can't tell. The only real modification on here, though, is her third eye. The rest can all be removed, which it will have to be today, considering that step 1 of the longification procedure is, removing her from her mortal flesh. I am ready to perform the surgery. But before we get into it, I need to tell you about these mysteries. It's evident until you crack.
I love STRANGEAEONS, but we are gonna skip
your first box. Down the straight hopeful tumble.
So right off the bat, she is going to be longifying a 90s Furby, which I'm not exactly against, because I know some people have done some really cool stuff with the 1999 Furbies, and longifying them. People have made working, longified Furbies. But yeah, she talks about it later on in this video, how, like, she would have gotten some fake Furby stuff, because Furbies, especially 90s Furbies, are an endangered species. There's only so many of them left, and honestly, as somebody who appreciates the original shape and mechanizations of the original Furbies, it kind of makes me a little bit sad to see that people just buy them just to longify them and then do away with the mechanical insides. So hopefully they do find a use for the mechanical parts, whether that's reselling it as spare parts, because that is a possibility, especially if Girlgruel works. I don't know if it does. And I don't think she shows that in this video, that the Furby actually works. But yeah, if it's a working Furby, or even if it's a non-working Furby, things like speakers can be replaced on other working Furbies. So I do hope that they find some use for the parts at least, and not just throw them away, because that's a real shame, especially because, like, these guys are, like, in short supply, technically. I want to make a long Furby so bad. They do look really fun. I actually bought the supplies for it. I had, like, all the stuff ready for it, and then just never did it, because it was a lot, and I just didn't have the mental health to do it. But yeah, maybe one day, Salad, will live, because that was her name. Her name was Salad. Oops.
Tumblr post on how to skin a 1998 Furby, which is what she is. She's as old as I am. There is a limited supply of older Furbies in the world. They still make them, but they're
yeah, this is where she talks about it.
They're never going to be the same. So there is actually a limited supply of old Furbies out there, and they're getting very expensive on eBay and stuff. I've noticed the Furby community coming up with all kinds of innovative new solutions, 3D printing the faceplates and stuff like that. The community is kind of transcending beyond the need for, like, starting with an original 1998 Furby.
That is very true.
And I think that's really cool, and I probably would have looked into going that route if I had not already bought her before I found out about that. I regret nothing. Not even spending 50 whole Canadian dollars on this little bitch. Anyway.
Okay, so it is true that the Furbies are getting expensive. You can look around for cheaper Furbies. I've gotten a lot of mine for, like $40 or under. I think the most I paid was for Irving, I think, which I've paid about like $45 plus shipping-ish. So that was the most expensive one. Of course, that was somebody who was selling to me upcharging. But that's fine. I don't have an issue with that, really. It's just if I had known I could have gotten cheaper ones, I probably would have done that first. But I don't regret Irving. He's cool. And yeah, he will always have a special place in my heart as my first Furby. Especially as my first mute Furby, and that's how I kind of decided that I liked mute Furbies over the talking Furbies, even though I do have appreciation for the talking Furbies. So yeah, this is a crazy pause screen right here. I want to make a long Furby and the boyfriend unit wants to mobilize. Oh my god, as in make him move? That would be terrifying, actually. But yeah, I actually had like a 3D printed faceplate. Which I got in a larger size than the normal faceplates that are, on Furbies, because I wanted her to be big girl, and yeah, so, it's kind of that, but yeah, let's move on, shall
How to
we?
skin a 1998 Furby. Before you start, you will need a couple of tools. Get a pair of
Oh,
wire
this is
cutters,
where-
a seam ripper, a craft knife, and a pair of needle nose pliers. I will be substituting kitchen scissors.
This is where I, like, cringed.
These are like shitty little jewelry pliers, but they'll be fine, right?
No.
I've already kind of like fucked around and tried to figure out if the skinning process was intuitive. It's not really.
No, it's
so
not
I've
intuitive
already
at all.
kind of like fucked up the first couple steps of this and exposed the zip tie type of thing in there. Thank you for the help diagram of what not to cut, which I totally cut.
Yeah,
okay, so we
I've
gotta
done that
snip
too.
The cable tie.
I have definitely snipped the wrong thing when doing it. Yeah, this is, yeah,
Hey.
yeah, that's
Okay.
the most difficult part. Getting the the zip tie out of
I
it.
see already where this is going. Are you ready to see her innards?
Okay, yeah,
So
so
this
you
is
want to fold it up.
undignified.
Okay, so she is
Free
doing it
ears.
quickly.
Hey, there we go.
Okay, so that is also something that I do not recommend. Although she's gonna be reattaching the skin to a long Furby anyway, so it doesn't really matter that she just snipped the ears off. But if you're just skinning a Furby just to customize it, that's something I don't recommend you do. Snip the ear off completely. There is, I'll have to see if I'll bring Irving over as an example because he's less likely to wake up on us. Unboxing video, but I'm skinning a Furby, yes. So, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but where his little earring is in there, this is the inside of the ear. Okay, so this little plastic thing has a little hole in it, and before you customize the Furby, taking off the skin, essentially, there is like a little like thread that's in there from the original stitching. So that's the thing you want to cut, and then this stitching that's in here, you're not going to be able to see it because it's like literally like in his fur, but like there's a little stitch in there and it matches his fur color, so you're not going to be able to see it. But there's a little stitch in here. And you don't want to cut that one, especially if you're just planning to, I mean, like I said, if you're longifying it with the skin or otherwise modifying it, like making new ears for them, it doesn't really matter if you snip the bottom off because you can just kind of put it back together with a few little stitches in there and it's not a big deal. But if you're planning on putting the skin back onto the Furby, as it originally was, Irving looks a little bit terrifying right now. There we go, that's a little bit better. Then you don't want to do that because it'll just make it a lot harder to put the ears back in. But otherwise they just kind of like slide off the ear and they're still attached to the skin. So that is what I would recommend if you guys are thinking about doing Furby customization. Let's continue, shall we?
Oh, okay, I feel like an expert. So that's what the ears look like, I guess. Ears are removed.
Oh, so another thing is you can actually test with that little plastic thing if the ears are movable. So, if you, or if they sync up. So again, we're going to use Irving as an example here. I'm not going to take his earrings off because it's a pain in the butt to get them back in. But if I do this, see? You can see both of his ears move. So that means that both of his ears are synced up. If that doesn't happen, if you're doing this and like only one ear is moving and the other one isn't, that probably means that your ear is a little bit busted. I think one of my Furbies doesn't have synced up ears, and it's not that big of a deal. It's just a little bit of less movement if your Furby works. Obviously it doesn't matter if you don't have a working Furby, which some people don't have working Furbies. So it doesn't really matter if you don't have a working Furby. But obviously if you want your Furby to work, then it's ideal for both the ears to move just like that. And these guys are pretty durable, surprisingly. Like, today's electronics will, like, fall apart, like, easy. Which is really sad. But, yeah, these guys I've found are super durable. And it's kind of surprising. Like, they're very they're very forgiving as far as doing all the, like, removing the parts and stuff. You can be pretty rough with them as well. Like, you could, like, rip the glue off their face plates, and it's pretty rough, and, like, they don't, like, break that easily, so it's pretty cool. It's a neat little, like...
She's looking even more destroyed. I've never had to do this before, because Thursday is not made of the mechanical 1998 Furbies that you usually think of when you think of Furbies. He's made of a Furby buddy. We followed the example of the person who created the original long Furby and used a Furby buddy because it's much easier to dissect.
They're also they're also more expensive. The Furby buddies are, like, super expensive. I guess because people are upcharging because of the fact that people make long Furbies with them.
Demon's crawling in my throat. And, like, you can even see he's a little bit dressed up right now, but the Furby buddies and the original Furbies, like, in their faces, like, he doesn't have, like, his eyes are kind of just eternally staring into the void, which is a look in itself, but there's just something fun about, you know, unhook the ear bases. How do you do that? God,
not like that.
Ears are free. I grab the faceplate from the bottom and lever it up, peeling the glue away as I go. Some of the glue may hold on, but you can cut through it with your craft knife. Thank God I have one of those. She's peeking. She's peeking free.
Okay, this is what I mean by you can be pretty rough with these guys.
She is reborn.
Because, look at that. Nothing underneath.
My beautiful daughter. I'm so proud.
So you can see that nothing in the Furby area was actually, like, destroyed, which is really cool. Which is what I mean when I say you can be rough with them. I'm gonna go ahead and say this Furby is a non-working Furby. Simply based on the fact that they put the third eye right up in here, in this area. So this is where the sensor is, and you can see on Irving right there, that's where his sensor is right there. So they put the third eye up in there, which is a popular choice for Furbies, whether they are working or not. The only difference is the Furby loses some of its mechanism if you don't have the sensor in it. So it loses its Furby third eye, yes. This is already kind of the Furby's third eye because it loses some of its interactability. It loses, if the sensor doesn't work or is otherwise covered, it loses its interactability with other Furbies. As well as some interactability with you. Obviously this is a toy of the 90s, so it's not that, like, complicated with the interactivity, but it does lose some of that if your Furby doesn't have the sensor. Thanks for the alert, Lux, I appreciate it. Also, sorry everybody who's not interested in Furbies, because this ended up being me talking about Furbies way too long. But yeah, oh, and I was going to say also that it looks like the on my screen it's blurry. I don't know how good visuals you have. But up here, it looks like the sensor is missing. Now, if the sensor bar does come out, you can pop it back in. If you do have a working Furby or you otherwise want the sensor bar in place. It's very easy to pop back in. But based on the fact that they didn't care the fact that there's something over the sensor bar, and the sensor bar is missing on the Furby in there, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Girlgruel is a non-working Furby.
Whatever. I'm gonna peel this off because this probably won't get in my way, but it just feels like I should, you know? You've done it. Wow, thank you. I've done it.
Okay, also the tutorial that she's looking at, or she didn't mention it, didn't mention the other type of Furby. So there's two types of Furbies that were made in the 1990s. As far as like removing the faceplates and stuff go. Moments captured before disaster. Yeah, true. So yeah, there are two types of these Furby faceplates, two ways to connect them. There is the hot glue, which you saw in the video, and there's also screws. So inside the Furby, there would be like little screws right in here. I believe Irving is not of that variety. Yeah. Because you can see his faceplate is coming off as we speak. But yeah, there are little screws on either side of the faceplate. Most of the Furbies that I have had do not have the screws. But I was customizing a Furby before I took a hiatus from that did have the little screws. And those are a pain. But yeah, the faceplate, it like still stays in place, even though it's not glued down or anything like that. I think if I wanted to, I probably could reglue it, but you know, just for ease of use, in case I wanted to customize him further in any way in the future, it's just easier to just leave him, so I could just slip the skin off a little bit easier. And I didn't retie him either. You can do that as well in the back. Give him another like rubber band or something like that, but I didn't do that, so I'm usually too lazy to do it.
Oh, Thursday, no!
Hello. It doesn't affect the Furby's movability at all either.
Nearly as bad as they thought they would.
I mean, there is more to do. I'm gonna take this plastic off. She's gonna look worse, I think, once I get the plastic off.
Okay, so they are
layers.
taking
like
the
Okay, so I'm not following any tutorial
off
for this part. I just think, I guess it should be intuitive. You just unscrew it and then the plastic will come off. Oh shit. Oh
well,
shit.
They're definitely not planning on putting it back together.
After using some truly questionable things as screwdrivers, just don't even worry about it. Just don't. It's fine. Just forget you did some shit.
Oh god.
I did not have a screwdriver small enough to take out some of these screws, but I was really curious to expose the innards, so I kind of just started cutting up the plastic.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, no. Would not recommend that.
Would you like to come see her? Nobody wants to say hello.
That's very... I feel like that's very disrespectful. To cut the plastic.
Oh my!
But it looks like the innards are still there.
So now we're going to attempt to remove the face so that we can stick it on her longified form. You know, I could...
So the red in there is the speaker as well as the sensor.
But am I gonna? No.
I would recommend using a tutorial.
Now we've gotten to this screw, which I assume is important for the faceplate. Oh baby, look at me go. I finally guessed how to do something correctly.
I'm like cringing. Talk about moments captured before disaster.
So, like, you know, you see? There it is. The remains. Hello. Okay, so I realized a few things since my dissection. I had decided to keep this piece right here because it like holds the back of the mouth in a way that it's not like flopping around all crazy. As for the eyes, you have to glue this white piece down to the black part so that well, I haven't done it, or I did it, but the glue didn't really work. So her eyes still go all the way around. But if you glue this white piece down,
I'm like cringing.
The eyes will stay in place and then the eyelids still work. So that is also on the to-do list.
Ugh.
However,
Okay. Yeah, considering I've not taken apart a 90s Furby, but just, like, just the, there probably is a better way to remove the faceplate so that it can be more stable. But yeah, I've had the eyes break on a fully assembled Furby. And that is not fun. Theodosia's eyes broke on me, actually. I would go get her, but she'll wake up, and I really don't want to do that. Go through all that. But, her eyes did break, and I had to re-glue them. Which is a pain when your Furby is fully assembled, so... alright, let's keep moving here.
what I'm working on right now is I am going to take apart the Furby head skin.
Okay, yeah, that...
a few different pieces, tracing them onto here so they have a pattern, and then resewing her from this.
Teen Heinz opened the Beans Museum as a pop-up. Oh, it's only a pop-up.
So, oh god. Yeah.
It's like half sewed in. Also, I need like a round like piece for the very top. It's not really. Okay, so that is a good way to do that. If you're gonna remake your Furby skin, you can do that as well. But so anybody knows, especially if you're like making Furby skin from scratch, or if you have like a Furby skin that's not salvageable, there are plenty of patterns. And if this becomes a YouTube video, I'll link some patterns down below so that you guys can look at them, because I found them for ears and all that kind of other stuff. So there are definitely patterns that you can find for the body and the peats and all of that kind of other stuff too. So yeah. Go in any particular order, it's just whatever I feel like doing, and you know, I have faith that it's going to come together.
Oh.
Eventually. My daughter is a beautiful young woman.
At that point, I would probably glue the faceplate to the
gamers.
finished.
It's the day 3
plushed
of longification. I've been sewing on her face again.
Skin at that point.
The faceplate has little holes in the side. Focus on her, not on me. She's the real star. I'm sewing through the little back through the little faceplate holes because I feel like glue would not feel stable enough. I would not feel safe with that. But I'm painstakingly resewing the faceplate back in.
But I would not have done that.
Like she's just sleeping, slumbering beautifully. Her eyes are still flopping around in every direction, but look.
Yeah, that should probably be stabilized at some point.
The girl of Gruel. We got her ears. I gotta figure out how to attach these things now, so that's gonna be fun.
And that's why you don't cut the ears off, folks.
What? Can you see the pain in my eyes at realizing that I have to sew more tiny little things?
Yes.
Well, it's pain. Every time you cut the fabric, you shed like 10 pounds of hair. For now, I think I'm just gonna sew.
That is fake fur problems.
This together.
Oh, you can see the fake lashes that they're gonna put in.
So I glued the face down, finally. This is not a tutorial. Please do not do any of this in the order that I did it. I cut the fabric out for Sarah to sew with her actual functioning sewing machine. Yes, the game has really been stepped up since Thursday's longification surgery. Remember that? Remember that time we hand sewed for like 12 hours? I got hair all over everything I have ever owned and will ever own.
She's gonna talk about that, I think.
My human essence itself. I think I even found one in my sandwich. That was fun. Can I help you? I got an ear.
Okay, I got one ear.
One ear. I existed on my floor like a goblin for many hours that day, but the girl was coming along beautifully.
Okay.
Are you getting me while I'm getting her?
So I don't know if. So I don't know if she talks about this at all at any point, but yeah, at some point you want to, if you're gonna do it that way, you're gonna with the faceplate just inside the thing. If you're not gonna glue it or sew it to a fully stuffed Furby head, or body, whatever. What you're gonna want to do is glue the faceplate directly onto the end of the spine. Because that's what you do. Furby furniture. God. Horrifying is what that would be.
I have a job today. It's just...
She became queen of the fruit, and then she became a tube. We could already tell she was going to be significantly chunkier than her brother. Hi.
Yeah.
My real name is STRANGEAEONS, and I lied about being done making my Furby yesterday.
Yeah.
She's really fun in this form, honestly. I love the little sock puppet. Also, I thought of something horrible. Wait.
Oh, God.
She's done! It's a little tour of my materials right now. So we've got the Girlgruel on my handy-dandy IKEA crate. This is her spine. So the blue
she's
spine
making
and
a
the white
long
spine
one.
are two different brands. They're the same size spine, but just for some reason, because I bought them from different places, they're from different brands. The blue spine, I think, was like some kind of a hose, but it was really cheap.
Yes, it's a, yeah, they're like, I forget. She's right, they are like some kind of a hose, or like pipe fixing things, I think. But yeah, those can be found on Amazon. I think that's the spine that I actually have somewhere for my long Furby, which may or may not become real. I hope one day. You know, maybe. I have to do a lot of hand sewing with it, though, which is what I'm not looking forward to, because she's, like, 10 feet long. So, hand sewing, not fun. But maybe one day.
Cheap, and it was clearly similar enough to whatever the hell we've been using as Furby spine.
It's cheaper, yes.
So I bought it, and I got, like,
they were
insane
using a
amount
doll
of it,
spine.
and I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want to use for her creepy little arms, but we'll get to those. But my spine pliers would not work to connect the white and the blue spines, houses, whatever the hell
that makes sense.
So what I did was I took like those like wooden takeout chopsticks, and I broke them into like smallish pieces, and then put them in there for more structure, and then put a little Gorilla Glue around the chopstick, and then put tape around all of that. And it
sounds pretty
resulted in
sound.
something that is good and strong, and I'm happy with it.
I would guess
As
you
for
just
the
have
one
to
in
be
the middle
careful.
That's connecting the white spines. That was because the use of two of these connector pieces at once kind of make it so that it lines up the wrong ends of the white spine, so they can't be connected. It makes them go like this.
Yeah.
Like those two pieces can't. They don't want to. No. That's what we've got going on with her spine. We've got her skin, which...
Okay, yeah, so... I forgot what I was going to say, really. But that really makes sense there. Because she's got... the chopsticks was a good idea with that. I finally remembered what I wanted to say. The chopsticks are good with that. But, yeah, you'd have to be careful where you're bending it, I guess, once the fur is on.
You saw
But otherwise,
yesterday,
this is pretty good.
but I added her little feet and this bottom flap that will be sewn shut once the spine and the stuffing is in there. And then we have her arms. These I'm incredibly excited for. These are just those, like, posable, like, wooden artist's hands that I painted black. As for, like, the arm flesh, I don't really have any solutions to that right now. She's probably just gonna have exposed spine arms for now. Maybe at some point I'll sew her some sleeves, but I don't know if that's in the cards for today. We're gonna find out. I'm probably gonna have to take another day if I want to give her any arm flesh. That's where we're at. She's taking a nap on me over here.
So I believe...
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So I measured it.
So I believe that the artist's hands are also what is her name? Buttered Noodles uses as her hands. Although I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what her arms are too. So clearly STRANGEAEONS took some inspiration from that, which is totally fine.
Right where the armholes
Consider
need to go,
Plague
gave him a
Dr.
little snip,
Furby, yes.
and shoved her spine right in there. She had
I
a
would
sound
honestly
spine
love
where
that.
her head should be, and what looked like creepy little...
Actually, there probably are a couple Plague Dr. Furbies out there. I remember I saw one on Furby Instagram, like, ages and ages and ages ago. But yeah, there are probably more since then. Definitely. Also, in case anybody is curious, Girlgruel was, when she was fully assembled, a black cat Furby. which I believe is one of the more expensive types of Furbies. I don't know why, but that's the one that people seem to want to hike up in price. I don't know why. Oh, we got Storm out. Hopefully I don't lose connection because of the storm.
Insect arms, and honestly, it was kind of a look.
Now we
this
got
is
polyfill.
exciting. Oh, this is a good. I like this part. Okay, so I think the process is going to go. I'm gonna stuff most of her body. I'm gonna sew up her ass, and then
Storm, baby! Listen, I do not want to... Oh, God, what? I do not want to lose power. Because it's too hot.
I'm going to probably put her head on. I need to give her a heart. I don't have any, like, scrap fabric, never mind pink or red scrap fabric, so I've come up with a pretty horrible solution for that one. Something I do remember from making Thursday was that you kind of have to try and keep the spine in, like, the center of the stuffing so that she doesn't get weird, but if there's anything we've learned from Thursdays, they're gonna get weird over time anyway.
That is true, probably.
It's very warm inside here. She has gained an ass. Honestly, she's very soft. I'm feeling very comforted right now. I'll probably feel less comforted when she has tiny little hands, but right now, very comforting. I've tried to glue a worm onto the wire heart to the best of my ability, but that does not appear to be working. It's kind of just falling off. Also, I realized that if we hug her, the wire is probably just gonna fall. Also, yeah, I'm like too lazy to set up 2 cameras this time, so my glue just fell down. I'm a mess. Okay, so I don't think that is the solution for us. I think I might just honestly be really lazy and just tie the worm. It's more of a worm pretzel, but it's heart adjacent.
She kind of looks like she has a pretzel for a heart.
I know, that's what I said too.
Pretzel heart.
So
That is very
I
funny.
pretty much just have to sew it on, and then she's gonna be like 90% done unless I decide to give her better arms. I'm gonna sit on the floor and listen to the Gideon the Ninth audiobook. Yeah, I did just read it a month ago, and now I'm listening to the audiobook again. What do you want from me? No, this video is not sponsored by Audible. It's sponsored by Tia's Hyperfixations. I noticed that putting stuffing directly behind her faceplate stopped the eyes and the mouth from working. So I found this takeout container. I just cut it and stuck it in there behind the faceplate, and that solved the problem. And then she was totally almost done, and we didn't overcomplicate it anymore at all.
Sleeves!
It looks like she's wearing a furry jacket. It's not my original vision of like creepy spidery arms, but it looks better. She looks more huggable, more fashionable. She looks more approachable, which is not really what you want with a Furby, but I think it looks better. It looks more finished than just the spine arms.
I don't know, some Furbies can be approachable.
Jacked. My daughter, gluten-free, Garbadine,
Oh,
Girlgruel, was born
hey!
on March 19th, 2020. With all of her arms completed, our final task was, of course, to terrorize the town. In keeping with our celebration of Thursday's birth, I thought that this should involve christening her at the nearest government building, which in this case was Toronto City Hall. I encountered a problem, a hindrance to my artistic vision, you might say. This balcony was still closed for the winter, so I might possibly perhaps have taken advantage of the fact that my platform boots gave me the ideal leg length extensions necessary to step over the fence, closing it off. I am escorted out of the Furby christening by Nathan Phillips Square security.
Oh, God.
Not my security. Oh, did you? They came up to me as I was on my way out, climbing back over the fence. It was very dignified, I assure you. The first thing one of them said to me was, excuse me, but what the hell is that thing? Is that Furby? And I said, yes, sir, this is my Furby. I really wanted to do the Lion King thing off City Hall balcony with my Furby, you must understand. I might have gotten away due to the sheer absurdity of my crime. Now that my daughter had tasted a life of crime on only her second day in this world, it was time to wind down with a little family picnic. So here she is, gorgeous, effervescent, transcendent.
I actually like that.
I hope you liked coming along on this journey with me. I hope you see Girlgruel and her tiny little hands in your dreams tonight. And as always, thank you so much for watching.
I like that. I don't think I don't know. I don't think Furbies are creepy. I used to when I was a little kid, but I don't think Furbies are creepy. Some Furbies are creepy. Some people make them creepy. I don't think Furbies are creepy. I mean, look at this little guy. Christ, I love that long Furby. But I mean, look at this little guy. will forever have a very special place in my heart for Irving. He is my baby. He is my first one, and I love him. He, they supremacy. And just gorgeous. I didn't customize him all that much. It was just my first, like, journey into customization, but I love it.